Title: The House That Whispers. The moment the Westcott family stepped into the old Victorian house, they felt it. An eerie stillness, as if the walls had been waiting for them. The air smelled of aged wood and something else, something almost alive. But they dismissed it. A new beginning, they told themselves. Emma Westcott, only 12, was the first to hear the whispers. It started the first night, a faint murmur, like voices carried on the wind. Except there was no wind inside the house. She lay frozen in bed, listening. The voices were hushed, urgent, as if someone was sharing secrets just beyond her reach. "Mom," she called out. Her mother, Claire, appeared at the door, her face groggy. "What is it, sweetheart?" Emma hesitated. "The house. It's whispering." Claire smiled sleepily. "It's an old house, honey. Creaks and groans are normal." She kissed Emma's forehead and left. But Emma wasn't convinced. The next day, the whispers grew louder. While unpacking in the living room, Emma heard them again, clearer this time. She turned sharply. The sound seemed to be coming from the walls. Her little brother, Oliver, played on the floor, oblivious. "Did you hear that?" she asked him. "Hear what?" Oliver shrugged, focused on his toy car. Emma pressed her ear to the wall. The murmurs were faint, almost like crying. At dinner, she told her parents, but they exchanged knowing looks. "New houses always feel strange at first," her father, Daniel, reassured her. "You'll get used to it." But the house didn't want her to get used to it. It wanted her to listen. That night, the whispers formed words. "Help! Me!" Emma sat bolt upright in bed. Her heart pounded. She wasn't imagining it. The voice was coming from the wall beside her bed. Trembling, she reached out, pressing her palm flat against the cold surface. "Who are you?" she whispered. There was a pause, then a single word. "Trapped." Emma yanked her hand back. She wanted to scream, but fear gripped her throat. She didn't sleep that night. The next morning, she convinced Oliver to help her investigate. They tapped along the walls, listening closely. Near the staircase, the sound was different, a hollow echo. "Something's behind here," she whispered. Oliver's eyes widened. "Like a secret room." Excitement mixed with fear as they searched for a way in. After hours of searching, Emma noticed a small indentation near the baseboard. She pressed it. With a soft click, a section of the wall shifted open. Inside was a tiny, dust-covered room. The air was thick, stale, untouched by time. But what made Emma's breath hitch was the single wooden chair in the center, and the chains attached to it. Oliver whimpered, "Emma, let's go." But Emma stepped forward, her pulse hammering in her ears. The whispers grew urgent now, swirling around her. "Find me. Find the truth." Then Oliver gasped, pointing at the far wall. Scratched into the wood, barely visible under the dust, were words. "They never let me leave." A cold shiver ran down Emma's spine. Suddenly, a loud bang sounded from above. Footsteps, heavy and deliberate. But everyone else was downstairs. Grabbing Oliver's hand, Emma bolted. They slammed the hidden panel shut and ran to their parents, breathless. Claire frowned. "What's wrong?" Emma tried to explain, but her father waved her off. "Enough of this nonsense," he said. "You're just imagining things." But that night, the house proved her right. As the family slept, a deafening creak echoed through the halls. Emma sat up, heart racing. The whispers turned into a single desperate cry. "Run!" Then, her bedroom door creaked open. On its own. Shadows shifted in the hallway. The air turned ice cold. Footsteps, slow, heavy, moved toward her. Emma didn't wait. She screamed. The whole house seemed to wake. Claire and Daniel rushed in, just in time to see Emma pointing, terrified at the empty hallway. But the moment they turned back to her, a deep, guttural whisper filled the room. "You should not be here." The house shuddered. That was enough for Daniel. By morning, they packed their things, abandoning the house with no intention of ever returning. As they drove away, Emma glanced back one last time. Through the upstairs window, where her room had been, she swore she saw the faint outline of a figure watching them leave. The house had whispered its warning, and they had listened just in time.